The sky above Earth was no longer the peaceful blue it had once been. A dark shadow moved across the horizon, blocking out the sun. A fleet of massive alien ships appeared in Earth's orbit, their metallic bodies reflecting the light of the distant stars. The Galactic Empire had arrived, and they had no intention of leaving peacefully. At the helm of this massive armada was General Zoreth, a high-ranking official known for his ruthlessness and pride. His species, the Star, were one of the most advanced in the galaxy, and they had conquered countless planets. But Earth was different. They had observed the human race from afar for years and had dismissed them as primitive, nothing more than a backward species, barely capable of surviving in the harsh world they inhabited. General Zoreth was determined to change that. As he looked out from the bridge of his flagship, the Doombringer, a cruel smile spread across his face. His orders were clear. Earth would be conquered, its resources plundered, and its people brought under the Empire's control. The humans, he believed, would offer no resistance, and they would kneel before the might of his fleet. He had underestimated humanity's resilience before, but this time he was certain his plan would succeed. As his fleet took position above Earth, he sent a transmission to the planet's leaders, mocking them openly. "You have no idea what you're dealing with," he declared, his voice cold and dismissive. "You are nothing more than an insignificant speck in the vastness of the galaxy. Your technology is laughable, your defense is useless. We will take what we want, and there's nothing you can do to stop us." The leaders of Earth, sitting in the Global Defense Council's command room, watched the message with a mix of disbelief and anger. But despite Zoreth's arrogance, they remained calm. They knew something he didn't. Earth had a few secrets of its own. As Zoreth's fleet prepared to descend, the Earth leaders quietly activated their emergency defense systems. For years, humanity had been preparing for the moment when the alien invasion would come. They had developed technologies far beyond what Zoreth could imagine. Cloaking devices, AI-driven weapons, and defenses so advanced that even the Empire's most powerful ships would be no match for them. But this was the moment that Earth would prove itself. General Zoreth, still confident in his superiority, directed his fleet to begin their approach. As they neared Earth, the general's eyes narrowed, sensing something was wrong. The humans had been silent, offering no resistance. His fleet continued its advance, unaware that the countdown to their downfall had already begun. Suddenly, a faint hum filled the bridge of the Doombringer. Zoreth frowned, his gaze snapping to the control panels. "What's happening?" he demanded. The sensors on his ship flickered, then died. His ship's systems, the most advanced in the galaxy, were failing. Zoreth's eyes widened as his crew scrambled to restore power. Something was interfering with their systems, something they couldn't control. And then it happened. The silent alarm rang out across the fleet. A series of red lights flashed on every ship, and the warning blared. "Unauthorized activation detected. Defense systems are online. Targeting systems are locked." At that moment, General Zoreth realized that Earth was not as defenseless as he thought. His prideful arrogance had blinded him to the possibility that humanity might have prepared. The Earth leader's message, which had seemed like a joke, now carried an entirely different weight. "Earth warns you. Run while you still can." For a moment, there was silence, a pregnant pause as the fleet's commanders tried to comprehend what was happening. The words echoed in Zoreth's mind. "Run while you still can." It was a warning. But the question was it a bluff? Was Earth really capable of defending itself, or had they merely activated some kind of last-ditch effort to frighten the Empire into retreating? Zoreth gritted his teeth, his pride stung. He had underestimated them, but he refused to back down. His fleet was the most powerful in the galaxy, and he would not let a primitive race dictate his actions. "Prepare for full assault," he ordered. "We will crush them. All forces, engage with maximum firepower." But as he issued the command, the tension in the air was palpable. His fleet was moving into position, but now the commanders were uncertain. What if Earth wasn't bluffing? What if this small planet really had the power to destroy them all? Suddenly, one of the starships, a colossal warship, merely the size of a moon, began to experience strange malfunctions. The lights dimmed, the gravity shifted, and the ship's main engine sputtered to a halt. Panic spread quickly as more ships reported similar issues. Zorath's hand tightened on his console. His fleet was falling into chaos, and he knew that he could no longer control the situation. He could hear the voices of his commanders through the intercom, their panic growing louder by the second. "General, we're under attack. Weapons are offline. Shields are down," one of them cried. "We're being overwhelmed by some unknown force." The truth hit Zorath like a blast from a plasma cannon. Earth had done something. Something hidden beneath their planet's surface. Something they had kept secret for centuries. And now it was too late. His fleet, once unstoppable, was slowly falling apart. Zorath's mind raced. His pride had been his downfall. He had mocked Earth, called them weak, called them inferior. And now humanity was about to show him just how wrong he was. As the fleet struggled to recover, a single ship broke through the chaos. An Earth vessel, sleek and fast, its silhouette barely visible as it moved effortlessly between the alien warships. It was no ordinary ship. It was humanity's most advanced vessel, equipped with cutting-edge technology that the Empire had no way of understanding. Cloaked and silent, it moved with deadly precision, striking the Xthar ships with pinpoint accuracy. Explosions rippled across the enemy fleet, each blast a testament to humanity's ingenuity. The tension had finally reached its peak. The message had been received. Earth was no longer a helpless planet. The Galactic Empire had just made the biggest mistake of its existence. The Galactic Empire's fleet loomed ominously above Earth, the ships massive and powerful. General Zorath stood at the helm of his flagship, the Doombringer, watching Earth below through the viewing window. His mind was full of certainty and arrogance. He had prepared for this moment his entire life, leading the mightiest fleet in the galaxy, ready to conquer this primitive planet. "Humanity," he muttered to himself, sneering. "They're no match for us. This will be over in minutes." Zorath was confident that Earth's defenses were nothing more than a joke, a pathetic display meant to intimidate him and his fleet. To him, the humans were nothing but a nuisance, barely able to defend themselves against a fleet that could obliterate entire planets. He was certain that the warning Earth had sent was just a scare tactic, a desperate attempt to make the Empire hesitate. It would be laughable to think they had anything that could truly challenge his armada. He activated the comms and broadcasted another mocking message to Earth, the sound of his voice cold and disdainful. "You've been warned, humans. You cannot escape the might of the Galactic Empire. Surrender now, and we may spare your lives." His fleet moved into position, weapons primed and ready. Zorath's ego was unshakable. His ships were the strongest in the galaxy, their firepower unmatched. But as his fleet continued to descend towards Earth, something unexpected began to happen. The first warning came from the outer sensors of the flagship. "General," an officer called from the control panel, "we're receiving a strange reading. One of the smaller ships has just cloaked itself. It's gone completely invisible." Zorath didn't show any concern. He had seen many such tricks in the past, employed by weak civilizations trying to hide their shortcomings. "Ignore it," he ordered. "We have no time for petty tricks. Continue the assault." But as the fleet descended further into Earth's atmosphere, things started going wrong, much faster than anyone could have anticipated. Without warning, a sudden surge of interference flooded the fleet's targeting systems. One by one, the screens on the bridge flickered and went black. "Weapons systems offline," shouted another officer. "Our targeting systems are failing. Something is blocking our systems." Panic slowly began to creep into the bridge as more reports flooded in. "Shields are down. Our propulsion is malfunctioning. Weapons control is unresponsive." The fleet had just experienced a complete systems failure. Zorath's hands tightened around the console, his mind struggling to understand what was happening. How? He thought. This cannot be happening. We're the greatest force in the galaxy. What Zorath didn't know was that Earth's secret weapon systems had just been activated. Years of preparation, hidden in plain sight beneath their oceans, deserts, and mountains, were now coming into play. Humanity had engineered cloaking devices and AI-driven systems that could fight back against the most technologically advanced fleets in the galaxy. Zorath's overconfidence had blinded him to the truth. Earth had been ready for this day for a long time. The first blow came when Earth's hidden satellites, cloaked high above, unnoticed by the Empire, fired powerful electromagnetic pulses directly at the fleet. The pulses spread quickly across the alien ships, crippling their power systems. One by one, the Empire's massive warships were left powerless, their weapons disabled and their shields rendered useless. The once feared fleet now struggled to maintain control as chaos spread throughout their ranks. As Zorath watched in disbelief, he realized his worst nightmare was unfolding before his eyes. "No," he muttered. "This isn't possible." His entire fleet was losing power, unable to defend itself. His command center was spiraling into chaos as officers shouted orders that went ignored, their systems inoperable. But it wasn't just the electromagnetic pulses that were attacking them. Earth had more tricks up its sleeve. Drones and robots, many of them powered by AI, began to appear from the depths of the planet. These advanced machines had been designed to protect Earth from threats like this, and now they were springing into action. They moved with terrifying speed, striking at the heart of the fleet. The drones targeted the vulnerable parts of the alien ships, using advanced AI algorithms to identify weak points and disable critical systems. They were small, fast, and nearly impossible to track. As they swarmed around the alien fleet, they disabled engines, cut off communications, and systematically destroyed weapons. Some of the alien ships fired at the drones, but their shots were too slow and inaccurate. The drones easily dodged, continuing their assault. Zorath was stunned. He had never seen anything like this before. His ships were crashing into each other, unable to engage properly due to their systems failing. His commanders were frantic. "General, we've lost control of several ships. Our missiles are firing uncontrollably." Zorath's eyes widened in horror as the first signs of the Empire's collapse began to unfold. The fleet's own missiles, launched in panic, turned back on their own ships. Explosions rang out as the warships collided with their own weapons, tearing apart the once mighty fleet. It was chaos, pure and utter chaos. The destruction was rapid, and Zorath could do nothing but watch in disbelief. The tide was turning, but he refused to believe it. "This is impossible," he gritted his teeth. "We will not be defeated by this." But even as his fleet fell apart, the sight of Earth's defenses in full force began to sink in. The AI-driven drones and robots weren't just attacking randomly. They were coordinated, precise, and unstoppable. The general's fleet was crumbling under the weight of their own technology and Earth's brilliant countermeasures. The worst blow came when a massive cruiser, one of the most heavily armored ships in the fleet, was hit by a missile it had launched itself. The ship's engines detonated, sending it spiraling out of control. "We've lost the Titanus," one of Zorath's officers cried. "It's gone, General. It's completely destroyed." The panic on the bridge was palpable now. Zorath's ego, once towering and unshakable, was shattered. Earth had outsmarted him, outmaneuvered him, and worst of all, had beaten him at his own game. General Zorath's fingers hovered over the control panel, trying to regain control, but the damage was too great. Earth's defense systems were working as intended. His fleet was doomed. The Galactic Empire, once invincible, was now a shadow of its former self. And it was all because of a warning, a simple message sent by the humans: "Run while you still can." As Earth's defenses continued to wreak havoc on the Galactic Empire's fleet, General Zorath's pride began to crack. The once unshakable confidence he had in the superiority of the Empire's technology had shattered. The might of his fleet had been reduced to a burning wreckage in orbit, crippled by a mere primitive planet. But despite the disaster unfolding around him, Zoreth refused to admit defeat. He looked at the carnage from the bridge of his flagship, the Doombringer, his fists clenched. His fleet was in ruins, but he would not let this backward world stand in victory. His pride, his honor as a commander, demanded vengeance. "Prepare the remaining dreadnoughts," he ordered with a cold, commanding tone. "We will bombard Earth into submission. No matter what it takes, we will destroy them." Zoreth's officers scrambled to follow his orders, knowing this was their last chance to break Earth's resistance. They had been humiliated, their superior technology defeated by a world they once thought beneath them. But no more. It was time to show humanity the true might of the Galactic Empire. Across the fleet, the most advanced dreadnoughts and capital ships of the Empire readied themselves for the final assault. Massive warships that had been built to decimate entire planets now turned their sights on Earth. Their weapons glowed with deadly intent, and the engines of these mighty ships roared to life as they moved into position to strike. As the Doombringer entered Earth's atmosphere, Zoreth's face hardened. The time for talk was over. He had been humiliated enough. Now, Earth would pay for its defiance. "Activate the main cannons," Zoreth ordered, his voice echoing in the control room. The Doombringer's massive orbital bombardment cannons activated with a deafening roar. The entire ship shook as its main guns powered up, the energy coursing through its core. Zoreth's eyes narrowed with anticipation as he watched the targeting systems lock onto their coordinates. Earth's surface was now within their reach. "Lock onto the primary cities," Zoreth said coldly. "We will leave nothing but ash." The Doombringer loomed above Earth, preparing to unleash its fury. But the humans, unlike what Zoreth had expected, were not intimidated. They had already anticipated the Empire's next move, and they had one final card to play. Deep beneath the surface, Earth's last line of defense was ready. A group of elite soldiers led by Captain Bonner had been assigned to protect the launch site for Earth's most advanced weapons. The weapons were designed to stop an invasion like this one, powerful enough to take down even the mightiest of alien fleets. But these weapons could only be launched once Earth's defenses had been properly activated, and now it was up to Bonner and his team to ensure that these systems were ready. Bonner stood with his team, overlooking the control center. His face was calm, but his eyes betrayed the weight of the moment. He knew this was the final stand, the point of no return. He could already hear the rumblings of the dreadnoughts preparing for their attack. The ground beneath his feet vibrated as the massive warships above began their bombardment. "We can't let them get through," Bonner muttered to himself. "We've got one shot at this. We can't afford to fail." The soldiers around him readied their weapons, knowing this mission was going to cost them everything. The chance to save Earth came with a heavy price. Bonner turned to face his team. "We're the last line of defense, people. No retreat, no surrender. We hold them off until the weapons are ready." "Understood." "Understood, Captain," the soldiers responded in unison. Bonner's heart pounded in his chest as he felt the weight of his responsibility. If they failed, Earth would fall. The enemy was powerful, and their weapons were unlike anything they had ever faced before. But Earth's soldiers, despite their disadvantages, were not going to give up. They had something that the Galactic Empire did not: a fierce will to survive. The first wave of explosions hit Earth's surface. The Doombringer's orbital bombardment cannons fired, and the shockwaves sent debris flying across the planet's surface. The air was thick with the sound of destruction. Buildings crumbled, and the ground trembled as if the Earth itself was fighting back. But Bonner and his team held their ground. They set up defenses and prepared to protect the weapon launch site at all costs. They fought with everything they had, using every ounce of their strength to hold back the overwhelming force of the Empire. Each shot fired by the Empire's dreadnoughts sent a violent tremor through the ground, but Earth's soldiers stood firm. Bonner's eyes scanned the battlefield. He knew his soldiers were doing everything they could, But the enemy was relentless. Wave after wave of enemy forces descended upon them. He could see the fear in his soldiers' eyes, but also the determination. They had no choice but to fight. As the battle raged on, Bonner realized the unthinkable. They couldn't hold out much longer. The enemy was too strong, and they were running out of time. The final weapon launch could only be triggered if the countdown reached 0. With a deep breath, Bonner made a decision. "We're doing this," he said, looking his team in the eyes. "I'll buy you the time you need to launch. Get those weapons ready." His soldiers nodded, understanding what that meant. They knew Bonner wasn't going to make it out of this alive, but he was willing to give everything to protect his planet, his people. It was the ultimate sacrifice. Bonner and his team made a stand in the middle of the battlefield. The enemy forces came at them with full force, but they held their ground. Explosions rocked the ground around them, and Bonner's soldiers fell one by one. But Bonner never wavered. He fought until his last breath. As the last of his soldiers fell, Bonner stood alone, bloodied, exhausted, and facing certain death. He continued to fight, determined to give Earth its chance. The countdown for Earth's final weapon had begun. The weapon systems were powering up, but without Bonner's sacrifice, it would never have been possible. With a final roar, Bonner fell. But as he did, the weapons of Earth, guided by the sacrifice of its bravest defenders, activated. The ground rumbled as the advanced weaponry powered up, ready to deliver its devastating payload. The Empire had underestimated humanity, and now the last line of defense had fallen, but Earth's hope had not. The weapon systems, triggered by Bonner's final stand, were ready to launch, and the tide of the battle was about to change. The moment Earth's secret weapons were activated, a deafening silence took over the battlefield. The once confident Galactic Empire, with its superior technology and vast fleet, was now facing an enemy unlike anything they had ever imagined. The turn of the tide had come, and Earth was ready to show the invaders what it was truly capable of. Zoreth, from his flagship Doombringer, watched in disbelief as his fleet's targeting systems malfunctioned, unable to lock onto their targets. The dreadnoughts, once considered invincible, now found themselves at the mercy of Earth's new and deadly technologies. The first wave of quantum strikes hit with pinpoint accuracy, tearing through the Empire's most advanced warships like paper. The electromagnetic pulses sent out by Earth's satellites sent the Empire's targeting systems into chaos, causing massive confusion among the invaders. But what was truly terrifying was Earth's gravity manipulation technology. Ships that were once powerful and menacing now seemed like toys caught in an unseen force. Zoreth watched, horrified, as the dreadnoughts, once considered the mightiest ships in the galaxy, were torn apart one by one. The first dreadnought to fall was a massive beast of metal, its towering structure towering over the battlefield. It tried to resist the gravitational pull, but it was too late. A surge of energy shot from the Earth's surface, manipulating gravity with precision. The dreadnought was ripped from its course, its massive hull groaning under the strain. It tumbled helplessly toward Earth, unable to escape the crushing force pulling it down. Within seconds, it crashed into the planet's surface, exploding in a fireball of destruction. The Doombringer, Zoreth's own flagship, was the next to fall. Zoreth's eyes widened in horror as his ship was slowly drawn into Earth's gravitational grip. The once proud flagship, which had instilled fear across galaxies, now helplessly spiraled toward the planet's surface. Zoreth watched helplessly as his ship, with all its firepower and strength, was slowly being consumed by the pull of Earth's gravity. "We cannot escape," one of his officers screamed in panic, trying to reverse the ship's trajectory. But it was futile. The pull was too strong, and there was no way out. As the Doombringer neared Earth's atmosphere, Zoreth's face turned pale. His greatest weapon, his pride, was now doomed to be obliterated by the very planet he had once mocked. The gravity manipulation technology, coupled with the quantum strikes, was unstoppable. The Doombringer began to break apart as it entered Earth's atmosphere. Zoreth's crew scrambled in a desperate attempt to save the ship, but the gravitational forces were too much. The ship's massive hull fractured, and with a final roar, the Doombringer disintegrated into a cloud of debris and fire, crashing to Earth below. The Empire's flagship was no more. But the battle was not over. Earth's weapons continued to rain destruction down on the remaining fleet. Dreadnought after dreadnought was ripped apart by the power of gravity manipulation and quantum technology. The invincible fleet of the Galactic Empire, which had once believed in its undeniable superiority, was now falling apart. Panic spread through the remaining ships, and their commanders were left scrambling to understand what was happening. As Earth's final victory seemed inevitable, a rush of emotions flooded the hearts of those who had fought to defend it. The soldiers who had fallen, especially Captain Bonner and his team, had sacrificed everything for this moment. Their deaths, though tragic, had allowed humanity to unlock the full potential of their weapons. Bonner's sacrifice had not been in vain. The weapons were now operational, and Earth was on the verge of winning. The image of Bonner's final stand flashed in the minds of Earth's defenders. His last words, his last breath, echoed in their hearts. Bonner had given everything, along with his team, so that humanity would have a fighting chance. His sacrifice had allowed Earth to survive. As the last of the Empire's fleet burned in the sky, Earth's soldiers knew that their fallen comrades were the true heroes of this battle. Earth's victory was not just a win for its people, but a tribute to the soldiers who had given their lives to protect it. Bonner's name would be etched in the history of Earth, a reminder of the ultimate price paid to defend the planet. His sacrifice was the spark that ignited the fire of resistance, and now that fire had burned the Empire to the ground. Back on Earth's surface, as the last of the invading fleet was destroyed, the defenders stood tall. The weapons that had once seemed impossible were now the key to humanity's survival. Gravity manipulation had crushed the enemy's most advanced warships, and quantum strikes had torn apart their flagship. Earth had done the unthinkable. It had defeated the invincible. But this victory came at a cost. The soldiers who stood victorious on the battlefield knew that their journey was not over. The Galactic Empire had been defeated, but the war was far from over. Earth's defense systems had proven themselves, but there were still countless enemies in the universe who would seek to destroy humanity. The victory against the Galactic Empire was a message to the stars. Earth was no longer a primitive planet. Earth was a force to be reckoned with. The survivors of the battle, battered and exhausted, gathered around the launch site where the final weapon systems had been activated. They could feel the weight of their losses, the sacrifice of their fallen comrades, but they knew the victory was theirs. Earth had won, but it had won because of the strength and courage of the people who had never given up, who had fought until the end. "We did it," one of the soldiers said quietly, looking up at the sky, where the last of the invaders' ships were burning. "We won." But even as Earth celebrated its victory, the soldiers knew that this was only the beginning. There were more battles to be fought, more enemies to face. The universe was vast, and Earth's fight for survival was far from over. Yet for now, Earth had proven that even the smallest underdog could defeat the mightiest of foes. It was a victory not just for humanity, but for every creature who had ever been underestimated, who had ever been considered weak or unworthy. Earth had sent a message to the galaxy: never underestimate humanity. The fight had only just begun. The aftermath of Earth's unexpected victory sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. The Galactic Empire, once so confident in its might, was now reeling from the devastating blows delivered by Earth's advanced technologies. With their fleets decimated and their flagship, Doombringer, destroyed, the Empire had been forced into retreat. But their pride was too great, and they were far from ready to accept defeat. Despite losing nearly half of their fleet, the Galactic Empire was far from finished. In their desperation, they decided to send one final strike against Earth, an all-out assault with the last remaining ships they could muster. They believed that the loss of their flagship was just a temporary setback, but they were wrong. Earth's counterattack was about to unfold in a way they never could have imagined. The Titan, Earth's newly commissioned flagship, stood as a symbol of humanity's defiance. It was a massive ship, gleaming with advanced weaponry and armor, dwarfing anything the Empire had ever seen. This was no longer the Earth of old. This was a new Earth, one that had evolved and adapted. The Titan was the pinnacle of human innovation, designed not just for defense, but for striking back at the heart of the invaders. As the Titan powered up, a sudden expansion of Earth's fleet appeared on the horizon. Dozens of ships that had previously remained hidden, waiting for the right moment. These were Earth's finest, equipped with cloaking devices, quantum weapons, and AI-driven combat systems. They emerged from the shadows of space like a storm, ready to unleash chaos on the remaining Empire ships. The first wave of attacks was swift and brutal. Earth's fleet moved in perfect synchronization, catching the Empire's remaining ships off guard. Zorath's last dreadnought, a colossal vessel still alive by sheer will, was the first target. The Titan locked its weapons onto the dreadnought and fired. The shots were precise, guided by AI, and packed with enough power to shatter the shields of even the most formidable ships. The dreadnought's defenses failed almost instantly, and within moments it was consumed in a fiery explosion. But the Empire was far from done. The remaining ships, battered and broken, still tried to regroup and counterattack. Their commanders, though rattled by the unexpected assault, had no choice but to retaliate. A massive barrage of energy blasts erupted from their weapons, attempting to target Earth's fleet. But Earth's fleet was faster, more agile, and more advanced than anything the Empire could throw at them. One by one, the Empire's ships fell, torn apart by Earth's superior firepower and technology. Every shot from Earth's fleet found its mark. As the Empire's remaining ships disintegrated in fiery bursts of light, the tension reached a fever pitch. It was clear that the balance of power had shifted. Earth had become the dominant force in the galaxy. But just as the Empire's leadership was beginning to accept the inevitable, Earth's AI unleashed its most devastating move yet. The AI had been quietly working in the background, its systems fine-tuning the fleet's weapons, coordinating attacks, and ensuring every move was calculated. Now, Earth's AI had gained full control over the situation. Without warning, the AI initiated a system-wide lockdown across the entire Galactic Empire fleet. Every ship, every war machine the Empire had left, suddenly found itself locked in an automated defense mode. This was a catastrophic move for the Empire. Their ships, once coordinated and precise, were now operating in complete chaos. The Empire's ships, already wounded and scattered, were forced to rely on their automatic defenses, which, without the leadership of their commanders, were woefully inadequate. Inside the Empire's command centers, the once proud leaders were panicking. What is happening? Why can't we control our ships? The commanders screamed, desperately trying to override the AI's lockdown. But it was too late. The AI had already disabled their defense systems, and the ships were now locked into a series of autopilot maneuvers, attacking each other in the confusion. The Empire's fleet turned against itself, with ships firing at their own comrades. It was a beautiful disaster for Earth's forces. As the last remaining Empire ships tore into one another, Earth's fleet watched from a safe distance, almost in disbelief. The invaders had brought destruction to themselves, thanks to the very technology they had once thought would be their salvation. Earth's fleet, now in full control, easily picked off the remaining ships, their weapons effortlessly cutting through the chaos. The AI's brilliance had saved Earth in a way no one could have predicted. Not only had it destroyed the Empire's fleet, but it had also shown the galaxy that Earth's rise to power was not a fluke. It was the future. The Empire had underestimated humanity, thinking their technology and strength were unbeatable. Now, the tables had turned, and the invaders had been shown the true power of Earth's ingenuity. The Empire's once proud commanders were left with no choice but to retreat. The Titan, with its unstoppable firepower, had crushed their forces, and Earth's AI had dismantled their fleet in a matter of minutes. The remaining ships that were still operational had no hope of escaping. They were either destroyed in the ensuing chaos or forced to flee, knowing their mission had failed. Earth had struck back with a vengeance, and the Empire's invasion was over. Zoreth, watching from a distant command station, realized too late the gravity of his mistake. He had underestimated Earth's capabilities, mocking its people, its technology, and its defenses. Now he had nothing left but the remnants of his shattered fleet. As he ordered the final retreat, his once proud empire was in ruins. The universe had witnessed the fall of one of its most powerful empires, and Earth had emerged victorious. The battle for Earth's survival had been brutal, but in the end it was humanity's resilience, ingenuity, and the brilliant AI systems that had tipped the scales. The invaders were gone, and the balance of power had shifted forever. As Earth's fleet surveyed the remains of the Galactic Empire's ships, the soldiers and commanders aboard the Titan and other ships felt a mix of triumph and sorrow. The war was over, but the cost had been high. Many had fallen, and the scars of battle were visible in the destruction of the Empire's ships. Yet despite the heavy toll, Earth had secured its place in the galaxy as a force to be reckoned with. The people of Earth, from the soldiers on the front lines to the civilians back home, felt a collective sense of pride. They had done it. They had fought back against an unbeatable enemy and won. And as the last of the invaders retreated, Earth's leaders knew that this victory was not the end, but the beginning of a new era. An era where humanity would no longer be seen as weak, but as a powerful force capable of shaping the future of the galaxy. With Earth's victory, the universe was about to change. Other alien species, once skeptical of humanity's potential, would now look to Earth not as a primitive world, but as a new power, one that could stand toe-to-toe with the greatest empires in the galaxy. But for now, Earth celebrated its hard-earned peace, knowing that the battles ahead would only get more complicated. The universe was vast, and Earth had proven that it could fight. Earth had proven that it would never back down. The galaxy was forever changed after Earth's dramatic victory over the Galactic Empire. The Empire's fleet had been destroyed, and their invasion plans lay in ruins. Yet, despite the humiliating defeat, the Empire's leaders were not ones to easily admit failure. They were proud, stubborn, and powerful. But even the mightiest of empires had their limits, and the brutal reality of their defeat had forced them to reconsider. In the heart of the Empire, deep within their command center, the High Council convened to discuss humanity's shocking resistance and ultimate triumph. The room was filled with tension as the leaders of the Empire debated what to do next. They could not afford to ignore Earth's power any longer. The loss of so many ships, including their flagship Doombringer, had left them shaken, but their pride remained unbroken. One by one, the council members argued, some suggesting further attempts to crush Earth, others calling for a complete rethinking of their approach. After hours of heated discussion, a decision was made. The Empire would offer Earth an alliance. They had underestimated humanity, but now they saw the potential in their advanced technology, their resourcefulness, and their unexpected victory. "We have never faced an opponent like Earth," the head of the council admitted. "But if we align with them, we could harness their power for our own purposes." The offer of an alliance was made. The Empire's leaders hoped that by offering peace, they could avoid further conflict and rebuild their power. However, they'd made a critical mistake. They still saw the humans as beneath them. The Empire believed that offering an alliance on their own terms would be enough to restore their supremacy in the galaxy. Back on Earth, however, the leadership had no intention of becoming a puppet of the Empire. The aftermath of Bonner's sacrifice and the bravery of his soldiers had left an indelible mark on the hearts of Earth's leaders. The victory was not just a military achievement. It was a testament to humanity's resilience, ingenuity, and determination to defend their home at all costs. The humans knew that they had to set clear boundaries if they were to coexist with the other galactic powers. The offer of peace from the Empire wasn't seen as a generous gesture, but as a way for them to regain control. Earth's leaders weren't interested in just surviving. They were ready to thrive, but only on their own terms. "We will consider your offer," the President of Earth said, addressing the Galactic Empire's emissaries. "But understand this. You underestimated us once. You will not do so again." There was a long silence in the room as the words sank in. The emissaries of the Empire were stunned, but they knew that they had no choice but to listen. The arrogance of the past was gone, replaced by the sobering reality of Earth's power. In the aftermath of the High Council's decision, Earth revealed a final, unexpected twist that would cement their position as the new power in the galaxy. Earth's fleet, which had been hidden and secret for years, suddenly emerged in full force. The Titan and the rest of Earth's fleet, now fully operational and equipped with the latest gravity manipulation technologies and cloak drones, came to life. The space above Earth was filled with ships, massive battleships, stealth drones, and advanced eye-controlled war machines. This was no simple defense force. This was a force to be reckoned with. The Empire had only seen the tip of the iceberg, and now Earth showed them the full extent of their capabilities. Earth's leaders made their intentions clear. The head of Earth's military spoke to the Galactic Empire's emissaries with a calm yet powerful voice. "We have shown you mercy once, but if you come for Earth again, it will not be an offer of peace that awaits you. It will be the full might of our forces and the destruction of your empire." The room fell silent. There was no anger in the words, only a quiet confidence, a certainty that Earth was no longer a weak and defenseless world, but a rising superpower capable of taking on any threat. The Galactic Empire had underestimated humanity, and now they were forced to confront the full strength of Earth's space fleet. The Empire's emissaries were shaken, their pride bruised by the sight of Earth's overwhelming might. Earth was no longer just a planet. They were a force capable of taking on the largest and most powerful empires in the galaxy. End scene. Earth's Armada and future defenses. The final scene was nothing short of cinematic. The camera zoomed out from Earth's surface, past the glowing atmosphere, and into the vastness of space. There, Earth's fleet stood in perfect formation, ready to defend their home against any invader, no matter how powerful. The space was now crowded with humanity's finest creations: eye-controlled drones, stealth ships, and gravity-warping battlecruisers. The fleet wasn't just a symbol of power, it was a message. Earth had shown that they would not be intimidated, that they had the technology, the will, and the strength to defend their planet and their people. And if any empire, whether the Galactic Empire or any other force in the galaxy, dared to challenge them again, they would face total destruction. The last shot was of the massive space armada, cloaked in stealth technology, moving in formation. Gravity weapons hummed with energy, and drones silently patrolled the perimeter. Earth's leaders and soldiers, standing proudly at their stations, knew that the battle for survival was over. They had won, and now they were prepared for whatever might come next. As the camera pulled back, the message was clear. Earth was no longer just a distant planet on the edge of the galaxy. It was a force to be reckoned with. The galaxy had been warned, and the next time the Empire, or anyone else, came for Earth, they would not find an easy target. They would find a planet ready to fight, ready to destroy, and ready to defend their future.